Rebuilding after the Marshall Fire, it's easier said than done.
And tonight, the Louisville City Council is voting on an emergency ordinance to hopefully cut some of the red tape. Contact Denver 7's Jacqueline Allen is live in Louisville.
And Jacqueline, you're hearing from people who lost everything who say the real battle is just now brewing.
That's right. I'm here in the Coal Creek neighborhood where people are afraid that they won't be able to afford to rebuild. Now, as you said, tonight the city is voting on an ordinance involving setbacks. But Louisville, before the fire, adopted some of the most aggressive green building codes in the state, and those may be the real barrier to rebuilding.
And it's just like a needle in a haystack.
Sifting through what little is left of his Coal Creek home, Chris Fuller is also looking at the bigger picture.
I'm kind of girding myself for the battle ahead.
The battle to rebuild is just getting started. Many Louisville residents, already underinsured, worry the city's so-called net zero green building codes will price them out.
It is going to be placing, I think, a financial burden that may make the difference in whether some of us can, afford to rebuild.
Tonight, Louisville is considering removing roadblocks over setbacks and housing footprints. Net zero is the next debate.
Nobody should have to choose between an affordable home and an energy efficient home.
Councilman Kyle Brown says the city is working with Excel and other partners to fund some of the costs. In a public letter, Governor Polis promised he would promote funding a sustainable and resilient recovery for your community and others in the future. So far, nothing is set in stone. Do you feel that pressure of a ticking clock? People need to know?
Yes, absolutely. Every day, people are already having to make decisions about whether they can stay or whether they need to find another place. We want to keep them in Louisville.
I think my biggest concern right now is that the city has an agenda.
Christian Dino is a Louisville architect and general contractor who lost his home. He believes the city's net zero requirements could add up to $100,000 to a rebuild.
Seems as though the city is attempting to make costs higher for homeowners to where they can't afford to rebuild.
He and many neighbors are pushing to return the building codes to 2018 standards for fire victims, still sifting through their options.
For those of us who are having to rebuild, not because we chose to, but because we have to, I think that's a practical thing to do.
All right, but here's another catch that we're hearing about. Some insurance companies may actually cover the new codes, so repealing them would hurt some fire victims. Now, tonight, they're voting on the less controversial issue of setbacks. They say it's one step at a time in a long journey for these fire victims. Reporting live in Louisville, Jacqueline Allen, Denver 7.
Yes, so many challenges. Thank you, Jacqueline. And families whose homes were destroyed are not the only ones who were displaced by the Marshall Fire. Several communities surrounding the main fire zone were damaged by the smoke and ash, and now they can get help from Boulder County. Those who qualify could receive $2,500 for a household up to 2 people, $5,000 for a household of 3 or more people, and you will need to give proof that you've been displaced due to smoke and ash contamination.